Hey everybody, it's Colin Nitro for Nitromaniac TV's wrestling channel, and it's time to recap one of my favorite events that I look forward to every WrestleMania weekend and every year. It's WWN Live's presentation of the Shimmer Super Show that happens only once a year. It's the only time Shimmer is on iPPV. This year was the 100th volume of Shimmer that will be taped for DVD release. So it was Shimmer 100, April 7, 2018. From the Blanchard Train Convention Center in Kenner, Louisiana, which is just outside of New Orleans. Here's my take on the card. I caught the opening match at the very tail end of it just due to stream problems with WWN Live. It seemed like there was an issue trying to get their stream up and running for this show. But it was Team Blue Nation featuring Charlie Evans and Jessica Troy versus Team Fire and Ice, which is Britt Baker and Chelsea Green. And Team Blue Nation got the win. But like I said, I only caught the last couple minutes of it, I should say, due to the stream difficulties, so I can't do an accurate judge of that. So for the rest of the card, we'll just judge the rest of the card, excluding that match. I'll go back on a video on demand, which I ordered as well, of the card, and take a look at it later on. But, opening match in the books. Let's see what was up. Six-man tag team match at the returning Mia Yim coming back off of injury. This was her first independent card since that injury. Kaylee Ray, together they are Team Flying High, or We Do Stupid Stuff. The other pet name for them. And their new partner, Rhea O'Reilly. So it's a change for me to see Rhea as a face going into this card versus Kellyanne, Veda Scott, and Zoe Lucas. Veda Scott and Zoe Lucas. Yeah, that's right. First time I've ever seen Zoe Lucas on a Shimmer card. I know that she's been doing the Rise stuff. Good little heel. Kind of reminds me of Brittany Knight a little bit in looks and that stuff, and maybe the same demeanor. It might be an English thing. I'm not sure. Her being from England as well. But the card itself kind of was up and down, I noticed a little bit. And this was just a good six-man showcase. A lot of good double team moves from Team Flying High. Much of the same that we seen last year in Orlando and that I saw live in Orlando last year. They were doing on this card this afternoon. So Team O'Reilly and Yim and Kaylee Ray got the Duke. We're moving on, and the card just keeps getting more action-packed from there. The returning Kimberly took on Samantha Heights in a quick 8-minute match, and man, it was a very fast-paced match. I wouldn't mind seeing these two go again, but over a 15-minute affair. I really enjoyed watching those two in the ring. I like where they're going with Kim a little bit, because Kimberly coming back into Shimmer, they're kind of basically giving her kind of Lufisto's heel role that Lufisto has had the past couple of years. It's like, okay, this is a toured veteran now that has a chip on her shoulder. So she's going to be in that Shimmer world title conversation here sooner rather than later. My prediction. The Shimmer tag team title was on the line next as we had the totally tubular tag team of Delilah Doom and Leva Bates defend against Hudson Envy and the aforementioned Lufisto. First time ever seen Hudson Envy wrestle. I am impressed. I think that she's a lot of the same power wrestlers that I've seen in the past, like a Cat Power or a Vanessa Craven type build. And to have her paired with Lufisto, I think they're a dangerous tag team, but they didn't get the tag team titles here. The totally tubular tag team of Delilah Doom and Leva Bates retained their Shimmer tag team titles in what was to be a pattern setter for the evening. I did not think that we would go through the card without seeing a title change, but that ended up being the case. We went through the card without seeing a title change. So a passable tag team match. Fun little match to see. In the singles match between two California competitors, Shotzi Blackheart took on Cheerleader Melissa, and the legend Cheerleader Melissa walked out with the victory. This was a good showcase for both women. Shotzi's 0-2 now on Mania weekend cards for Shimmer. She made her Mania weekend debut, of course, last year, I think as an injury replacement for somebody. I can't remember who, against Nicole Matthews, and lost that one. And then she ended up, unfortunately, going down against Cheerleader Melissa she'll get her win, I think, somewhere along the line. But she's wowing a lot of people down there in New Orleans. A lot of chatter about her this weekend. So, and cheerleader Melissa, again, a great veteran hand and that stuff. One of the great veterans we have in independent wrestling now at this point. So kudos to both of them for a very watchable, very fun match to see live. In a match that I had as match of the night, it was my favorite match of the night. It was a very technical masterpiece between Women of Honor competitor Dianna Perazzo and Madison Eagles, who made her return to WWN iPPV for the first time. They were saying since Shimmer 62, which was the first Shimmer event that I saw live. And this was a very technical masterpiece. They have 10 minutes and 58 seconds on the website here for a match length. It felt more like a 15-minute affair or a 20-minute affair. It was a lot of fun watching this matchup. Very technical, two technically sound wrestlers, a lot of holds, a lot of amateur moves and mat-based wrestling and that stuff throughout. And it was a knockout kick that won it. So, Madison got a big victory in kind of a iPPV return. Remains to see what happens. And Dianna's on her way back to the Women of Honor, which I think that maybe a Women of Honor title shot against whoever the champion is after this weekend for the Women of Honor is in the writing or in the future for her. So we'll see what happens going forward. The debuting Toni Storm, that's right, Mae Young Classic competitor and sweetheart of the Mae Young Classic, Toni Storm. A lot of people were very high up on her after that tournament last year. Took on Nicole Matthews in a very hard-hitting affair that a lot of people will argue was match of the night. I'll give match of the night honors to Perazzo and Eagles, just due to the fact that I enjoyed the amateur ground-based mat wrestling in that match a little bit more than the straight-up strong style that was executed between Storm and Matthews. Nothing against Storm and Matthews. I just preferred Eagles and Perazzo a little bit more. But still a very entertaining match. Those two matches were just ballistic, back to back. And it was fun to see. The card started to elevate a little bit after that. It was, the crowd was into it a little bit. It was a small but real noisy crowd at the Blanchard Train Center as it looked on iPPV. They were very rowdy, so still a lot of fun to watch. And Toni Storm getting her first Shimmer win. Kudos. The Heart of Shimmer title was on the line as the champion Shazza Mackenzie retained the title against Tessa Blanchard. A few minutes into the match, Tessa looked like she was going for either a tope or something off of the corner turnbuckle and slipped and hurt her knee. I'm not sure if that was storyline in the match or if it was something that shouldn't have happened, but it did, and she was kind of limping around for the majority of the match after, so hopefully she didn't do something serious to that knee, just because of the independent schedule that a lot of these women handle and that stuff. You want to have a good weekend on Mania weekend, but you also want to have a safe weekend on Mania weekend. So it's a catch-22, and hopefully Tessa walks out of this, with either a minor tweak or nothing at all on that, and that was just storyline. But it was a very fun match. Shazza, though, kind of walked in as a face, and then by the end of it was being booed by the crowd a little bit, and Tessa was getting cheered. So I'm not sure if that was a kind of inadvertent heel-face turn or what, but be very interesting to see what happens a little bit later on down the road in future volumes. But Shazza Mackenzie retains the Heart of Shimmer title. And in the main event, former Trifecta members explode between Nicole Savoy, the champion, the Shimmer champion, and Mercedes Martinez, the challenger, a Shimmer original from the very first volume. It was a very good back and forth match. And Savoy retained, and you know what? She's a very credible face. She's she's turned face since the split of Trifecta, and Martinez is still that real hated heel that she was, a year or so ago. But for a main event match, I like the pacing of it. I mean, it was just a shade under 15 minutes, sitting at 13 minutes in total. But the pacing and everything too was all right. It was really good. a great main event for an all-star card. And of course, my final rating on the card, I'll give it a passable 7 out of 10. I didn't think it was anything too spectacular. It was a nice all-star card. It was a lot of fun with seeing these women that you see on Twitter and some of the matches on YouTube and that stuff wrestle again on an iPPV. The crowd was, like I said, small but noisy. I don't think the slotting of the show just prior to NXT TakeOver kind of helped it at all. I think it hindered it more than anything else. And but it still remains one of my favorite parts of Mania Weekend is the Shimmer show. And it's always a part of the WWN live experience. Go check it out if you're ever in a Mania City. It's well worth it. It's a lot of fun. But anyways, I'm Kellen Nitro. That's my take of Shimmer 100. And by the way, congrats Dave Prazak and crew on 100 Shimmer shows. That was amazing that you guys have got up to that number. And here's to 100 more. And I'm looking forward to checking out the DVD release of this show and others leading up to it and after it. So kudos to Dave Prazak again and crew. I'm Kellen Nitro. Later days. Happy wrestling watching. We'll talk to y'all later on. Like and subscribe if you like the video. And follow me on Twitter at Kellen Nitro. And we'll discuss this show further if you want. See you there.